Hey, welcome back, challengers. No, not that challenger. Still no. No. Ah, perfect. So let's try this again. Welcome to the 2025 NFL season. Whether you're a fan or just someone who entered what channel is football on in your YouTube search bar, welcome. Well, my name is Josh. Some of you know me just simply from a signature on the email you get for the competition. Some of you have worked with me as coworkers. Some of you are more familiar with me. Either way, welcome. If you're new and this is brand new going forward, I will be referring to myself as the founder because I created this competition and have been running it since I started in 2003. So whether you've been watching since Joe Montana was a thing or just learned that Taylor Swift kind of is into a guy that plays this game, this competition's for you. Let's break down what happened during the off season and break down the games since this league never sleeps. It just kind of reloads, kind of like that $70 Madden roster update. So buckle up, this year's already going to be a doozy. First, let's talk about the 2025 offseason. The league basically became the world's most expensive game of musical chairs. This league turned into The Bachelor. Every big name player on the market got a rose and then a new contract. So you see this guy, if I was married to Haley Steinfeld and given an extra 330 million, I'd be smiling too. So back to players on the move. Aaron Rodgers left the Jets to join the Steelers. Joining him is former Seahawk wide receiver DK Metcalf. Nothing says new start like giving Rodgers a 6'4" receiver who runs faster than a Tesla. Now, unfortunately, George Pickens is now with the Cowboys, so Metcalf becomes the one guy that Aaron Rodgers can overthrow by 15 yards. Now, speaking of Jets, Justin Fields lands with the Jets. Apparently, New York collects quarterbacks the same way that your grandma collects decorative spoons. Now, the Jets fans are split. Half are excited, half are Googling, is there a warranty on quarterbacks? And speaking of New York, we shift to Big Blue, where Russell Wilson, yeah, he's now a New York Giant. And apparently, New York football officially leads the league, and we swear this one's the guy. And speaking of guys that the New York teams thought was the guy. Well, if you look over in Indy, surprise here is Daniel Jones is the new Colts starter. The Colts took one look at Anthony Richardson's injury history and said, what if we just import the Giants' problems instead? Now, Samuel got shipped to Washington because clearly Jaden Daniels needed a toy besides his PlayStation. He joins new tackle Laramie Tunsil. Suddenly, the Commanders' offense looks like it might be functional. Now that week one is here, the off-season chaos is behind us, and every fan base still believes that this is our year, except for maybe the Panthers. Sorry, Carolina. But in all seriousness, every game has a storyline. Some have drama, some have playoff implications, and some, well, some are background noise for your fantasy team's kicker. So the season opened Thursday night with the Cowboys versus the Eagles. Now, the Eagles raised their Super Bowl banner while Dallas was raising expectations that they'll crush their fans' souls again by January. But this being week one, the Eagles decided to give the Cowboys a spitting chance with the first seven drives resulting in scores, bringing a 21-20 score. But then Mother Nature came along and politely said that they wanted more defense, so one field goal later, and we ended with a final score of 24-20. Now we fast forward to last night, Friday's game, where we had the Chiefs and Chargers being the first teams to play a game in Brazil. The Chiefs coverage repeatedly got exposed, and now, if you count the Super Bowl, the Chiefs have now lost back-to-back games, bringing the question if the Chiefs are still the perennial AFC powerhouse that they once were, and if their weaknesses have finally been exposed. Between the Eagles and the Chiefs picks, for me, I'm starting at 1-1 going into the Sunday game. So speaking of the Sunday games, let's go ahead and go into the week one matchup, starting with we'll start with the Sunday games, looking at the Bucks versus the Falcons. It's where Southern hospitality meets helmet to helmet punctuation. The Bucks are tied in knots with injuries and missing starters, kind of like showing up to your family reunion after losing your invitation. If Phoenix pans out and the Bucks are down their weapons, Atlanta could take the early lead. But if Evans and that third down machine activate, Tampa just might drown the Dirty Birds. Expect a humiliating barn burner or a flustered toss-up. Either way, this opener probably gets chippy on and off the field. Despite Mayfield's 2-3 record against the Falcons, I'll credit his recent statistical dominance as why I'm picking the Bucks over the Falcons. So going a little north, we go to the Bengals versus the Browns. This is the battle for Ohio, the Bengals versus the Browns. We got Joe versus Joe. So a rivalry so intense, even the state line is considering placing a restraining order. If Cleveland's offensive line can control the game and Garrett's defense can pressure Burrow, the Browns might just pull off the upset. But if the Bengals offense clicks early, it could be a long day for Cleveland. My pick is with the Bengals. So speaking of the aforementioned Colts, we've got the Dolphins at the Colts, where we have the Cheetah and the Penguin versus the beginning of the Colts, hoping that Daniel Jones is just the help they need to get another Manning in Indianapolis in 2026. I'm mostly watching this one to see if Ty Warren will be as dynamic with the Colts as he was for Penn State. So for this one, my pick is on the Dolphins. So going back down south, we've got the Panthers at the Jaguars. The battle of the two 1995 NFL expansion teams. You might not be able to tell it with the logo here. It kind of got skewed. Oh well. So let's see if they can prove that they're more than their famous animal mascots, Jackson DeVille and Sir Purr. The biggest thing to watch here is the beginning of the Travis Hunter experiment in Jacksonville, and if he can bring the same dynamic gameplay to Jacksonville as the one that won him the Heisman Trophy in Colorado last year. My pick's on the Jaguars. Uh, we've got the return to the tuck rule, the Raiders versus the Patriots. The Raiders bring in quarterback Geno Smith, who is here looking to prove that his 2024 season wasn't a fluke, while at the same time reminding Pete Carroll that he is not coaching the Seahawks again. Fans of the NFL, the Raiders, and fantasy football will be having a close eye on the rookie debut of running back Ashton Jeanty. As for the Patriots, the former linebacker turned head coach Mike Vrabel will make his Patriots coaching debut, and he'll have wide receiver Stephon Diggs looking to make the Pats relevant again. My pick is on the Patriots. So going back down south again, we're going to have the Cardinals and the Saints. And personally, this game was difficult to pick for all the wrong reasons. The Cardinals have been subpar in a division dominated by the Rams and 49ers. The Saints have a first-time head coach and former backup quarterback Kellen Moore, who himself has an unproven quarterback in Spencer Rattler and arguably the weakest division in the NFL. I'm picking the Cardinals because I unfortunately have to pick one of these two teams. And remember that aforementioned Justin Fields and Aaron Rodgers? Well, you got to figure that the NFL had this game planned out when they planned out week one. So we got Rodgers and his ex, or are we talking about Fields and his ex? Either way, it's like a double date where both couples realize that they prefer the other person's partner more. The key matchup, the suddenly shaky Jets offensive line trying to keep Fields alive against TJ Watt again. Good luck. My pick's on the Steelers. And we go to a divisional matchup between the Giants and the Commanders. As mentioned, the Commanders got Jaden Daniels, a new wide receiver, and Deebo Samuels. Meanwhile, the Giants are continuing to add to the strength of its defense with Abdul Carter. They also have yet another season of bringing in its new franchise quarterback. Now, whether you think I'm talking about Russell Wilson, Jackson Dart, or Jameson Winston is up to you. I'm picking the Commanders. And the battle of some young, bright-eyed quarterbacks, we have the Titans versus the Broncos. So Cam Ward is about to go from that bright-eyed number one pick with Tyler Lockett as a new fun target to a bewildered rookie who will face a stout defense that will make him suffocate from high altitude air, lack of pocket presence, or both. My picks on the Broncos. And we go to an NFC West divisional showdown between the 49ers and the Seahawks. Brock Purdy leads the 49ers juggernaut against the Seattle Seahawks new quarterback Sam Darnold, which means, yes, Sam Darnold is still in the league. So the key storyline is, will it be the Seahawks defense slowing down Christian McCaffrey, or will it be his injury history that's slowing him down? Uh, Either way, the key components for the Seahawks haven't proven themselves yet. There's still too much going on in San Francisco, and my picks on the 49ers. It could be a very big divisional matchup, but we have the Lions versus the Packers. Now, this is going to be a divisional brawl. Detroit going to 2025 looking to continue their dominance of the last couple seasons, while the Packers try to remind everyone they still run the NFC North. Jordan Love versus Jared Goff could quietly be one of the most important quarterback duels of the week. Expect this one to be physical and expect at least one Dan Campbell meme by halftime. Despite the advances forward that the Packers have made, including picking up Micah Parsons, who may have a limited role in this game, the NFC North still goes through my pick, the Detroit Lions, which brings me to my streak of the week. As you can see here, the Packers have won 12 straight, as well as going 17-1 since 2007 in home opener games. Just as a testable fact, not saying I'm switching my pick. So we shift to a showdown between the Texans and the Rams. This game will be a test of willpower and a contest to see which team has the biggest and strongest defense. Can Stroud and the Texans prove their Cinderella story is a long running story series, or is this going to be a one season special? Or will Stafford and the Rams, like a seasoned actor in a B movie, deliver a performance that's just good enough to get the job done? The answers will be revealed this Sunday on a channel that you can easily look up. The question of age and durability for Stafford is why I'm giving the edge to the Texans. So we go to the highlight of the week, Ravens versus Bills. This is a heavyweight matchup for the week, if not the season, between former NFL MVPs Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. Expect touchdowns, fireworks, and at least one announcer yelling that this could be the AFC Championship preview by halftime. Once all the haymakers and late game heroics are done, I pick the Ravens as they've proved that they don't choke until the postseason. And lastly, we shift to the Monday Night Football matchup between the Vikings and the Bears. And this is Caleb Williams' first primetime game for Chicago. So the Bears' new offensive line gets a test against the Minnesota Vikings pass rush. While the Vikings are still trying to figure out life after Kirk Cousins with Sam Darnold out after one season and JJ McCarthy making his first pro start after basically falling off the school bus when he was dropped off as a rookie at training camp last year, you can expect chaos, hype, and expect Bears fans to either crown Caleb as the savior or demand that they rebuild by Tuesday morning. Until then, until the Bears prove that they're no longer the Bears, I'm picking the Vikings. So that's your week one breakdown. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell. Tell me in the comments which team's hype train that you're boarding and which ones are already about ready to derail. The Pro Football Challenge rolls on, and for all of you returning challengers, you know the drill. You've got your matchups, you've got your trash talk, and you've got me back here next week with more chaos. Don't forget to go to pfchallenge.weebly.com to lock in your picks. For the rookies, welcome to the chaos. We've been doing this for 23 seasons now. competing, and the challenge is simple. Make your picks, talk your trash, and survive until February. And until then, we'll see you next time.